Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Harvey, and I am your host of the Modern Conservative Podcast. Today is a day that really pissed me off. That jackass we call Joe Biden, I don't call him the president. I call him, he's Donald Trump's seat warmer. I'm sure as most of you heard that he has become the new tyrant of the United States. He and Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris and Ocasio-Cortez, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Nadler, Schiff, Mitt Romney have now all become dictators in this country. I'm pretty pissed, so I'm going to try to stay cool and calm and not blow my top, though it's very hard right now because there's so much to talk about with this. So much. And what's going to happen, people, I'm telling you, and I kept telling you, and I keep telling you, this is coming soon. Here's another trick they're going to put on you. The masks are coming back. The employers who are enforcing the vaccine are going to make you wear a mask, even though you are vaccinated. It is freaking it's coming. Your churches will be telling you to get vaccinated. As we say, command you to get vaccinated because they will comply with the federal government. I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't. For people to say, hell no, we won't go. What is it going to take? Are there people out there who really give a crap about their freedom and they're willing to show it? Are people really going to sit back in the cuff, as we say, and allow this to happen? Allow them to be destroyed. Allow them to be controlled. Because, for those of you who don't know what the Great Reset is and you don't follow politics, the Great Reset is a number of people, powerful people in this country, including big tech, big commercial, big government, and every other country believe that there's too many people on this planet. I know some of you are going to go, that's a conspiracy, blah, 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 blah. You are the same idiots that believe that's going to allow what's happening to you happen. And then you're going to wake up when it's too late. When the government tells you how much oil you can burn in a cold winter's night. When the government can tell you how far you can drive your car. When the government tells you where you buy your fuel from. When the government tells you your taxes are so damn high now, you can't own anything. Because you become at least a communist or socialist society, and you got to pay for every single body else in this country who's never worked a damn day in their life, who sat on their ass, and that's what you're going to turn around and allow happen to this country. It's a crime shame. Where are the grown men in this country? Where are they at? Why are there so many women fighting the battle? Where are you at? Republicans, where the hell are you at? I'm so damn pissed right now because the country is slowly getting taken over by the government. And everybody out there is like, well, that doesn't affect me. Well, that doesn't affect me. That must be the other guy. Hey, let me wake you up. If you're a Democrat, it affects you just as much as it affects me. As a matter of fact, here's just shows that those of you that's part of the cabal slowly get exterminated from it. So the cabal has more power. Those of you that go along with it. It's kind of like when Castro took over in the 50s, I think it was, when he walked in, took over, shot anybody that stood against him right on the floor in front of every other politician in the parliament. This is how it works. There's a lot of you out there who believe, oh, this can't happen in the United States. Well, hey, people, it's happening. It's freaking happening. It's not a freaking conspiracy. Wake up, get your head out of your ass, and see what's going on. There's going to be a lot of asses and shits on this podcast today. So be warned. The man gets on TV today and he tells us, basically tells us, he's going to screw us. And I bet you're driving home right there, you think about what you're going to have for dinner. Then after you get to having dinner, you can go sit on the front porch or the back porch and drink a cup of coffee and just reflect on everything else but that. That means you're too comfortable when a country is about to be taken over, and it's the country that you live in. Everybody keeps talking about, why don't you just give up, screw your freedom? Why don't you just give up your freedom and get the vaccine? You dumbasses. You dumbasses. You weren't saying that the minute the soldier was fighting to free this country, why don't you just give up? Because you wouldn't be American. You'd still be speaking British. Those of you out there that are telling people to get the vaccine, you know you effed up. You know you effed up. And you do not want those of us who refuse to take this vaccine to have the ability to say to you, we tried to tell you so. Nor does the federal government want 40 million people unvaccinated, because you know why? We are the test subjects. You know what the test is? We survive without the vaccine. We survive without the vaccine. We don't have to wake up in the morning and worry about if our eyes are going to fall out or our balls are going to fall off or are going to have 3 nipples. We don't have to worry about that crap that you're worrying about. You have to worry about when is it going to happen and what's going to happen. You refuse to believe the science. You refuse to believe the science. There's no science behind a box on it that has a mask in it that says this will not stop viral transfer. That means, let me break it down to you. You put that paper mask on your damn face, it means it will not stop the transfer of the virus through your mask. That's what that means, in case you did not know. Still wear it. You still freaking wear it. Yes, I'm pissed today. I'm really pissed today. Because there are people close to me that may have to wear or have to think about now getting the vaccine because you cowards out there won't stand up for anything but yourselves. First of all, you said Donald Trump was a racist. Same people. Though he's shown you many a times he's not a racist. He's shown you one of the greatest economies in history. You are the same clowns. That's what you should have on your face, is a clown face, not a mask, a clown face. Because you clowns running out there believing this BS, and you do not listen to the science. Hey, here's a clue for you. Do you know why over 10,000 doctors are suing the WHO, the NIH, and the CDC? To protect your dumbasses. You don't know about that, do you? Because your head is so far up somebody's ass, you refuse to believe the science. You don't give a damn about the science. All you care is about yourself. You don't care about your country. The country is not about one person, one individual. It includes us all. When a Republican soldier goes to war, guess who's he protecting? Your Democrat and liberal ass. Why don't you show some appreciation? Why don't you stand together? Why don't you ask yourself, why is that black man so pissed off today? He's pissed because you're not doing a damn thing but contributing to the demise of this country. And there's a lot of us that do not like it. I wonder how many out there really know what communism means. All right, let's take the cleaner version of it, socialism. I wonder how many people out there know what it really means. Because tell you what, if you know your history, it looks like what's happening right now. And if you're of a particular religion, and then your church start telling you to do what the government can't make you do, realize what kind of community you're living in. A socialist community. It's coming. Your employer will become your God. Your church will become your God. Your government will become your God and will tell you what to do, and you do it. The government told you dummies to walk around with a body condom on, you would. You absolutely would. You wouldn't ask questions. You wouldn't ask questions. You just do it. We got Afghanistan completely screwed up right now because of one man in his administration. When the hell are you people going to say enough's enough? It doesn't take a gun to say enough is enough. You walk around here talking about why don't those unvaccinated patriots get vaccines so the rest of us can live our lives. So let me get something straight. You got vaccinated to keep me from getting COVID, right? Am I correct out there in La La Land? I'm assuming you got vaccinated just so I don't get COVID from you. You believe that, you're a damn idiot. You got it because you're stupid. Because you don't know what you're talking about. You know nothing about the world you live in. You're about to become a subdivision of China is what's going to happen. Hey, newsflash. You know that base that we gave up in Afghanistan? The ones that we heard so anxiously got out of Afghanistan without taking our people with us? You know, the one that we took the military out and forgot about everybody else, including our dogs, left all our canine dogs there as well. We just took off and left everything. $86 billion worth of equipment. You remember that? You remember that incident, that little small incident that just happened a few weeks ago, approximately 18 days ago? China is coming in, taking over the airport, and they'll be taking over the military base. The military base. We've been there for 20 years. Guess who's there now? China. Do I like the fact that we're in Afghanistan? No, I don't. But strategically, it is what it is. I don't understand how you people have so much confidence in a man who is senile, mental state is diminished, and every word that comes out of his mouth is from a teleprompter, which means his handler is writing his speeches, and he's not allowed to, as we say, freestyle. People, it's going to get worse. It's about to get a hell of a lot worse. In the next couple of days, day by day, life is going to get hard for a lot of people. And that's why I'm angry. The government is not supposed Oh, no, hold on, back up. The government doesn't have the right to do what they're doing. But they're doing it because they know there are certain elements of this country who would do absolutely nothing and allow the government to screw them over and not give a damn. Not give a damn. Now, this is for the Republicans, mostly the politicians, the senators, state and federal. Where the hell are you? Where the hell are you? Mike Lee, where are you at? You're supposed to be a constitutional lawyer. Your ass is supposed to be on the TV every single day. I have not seen any of you. Any of you. Where the hell are you at? Lindsey Graham. You're always on the TV talking bullshit. But where are you now when real things are happening? Where are you? Mitch McConnell, where are you? Yeah, because you should be ashamed of your damn self. That's why you're not seen. You're absolutely ashamed of your damn self. Now, I'm going to tell you, Utah. This is for Utah. Our governor is one of the biggest piece of POSs I've ever seen in my life, next to Mitt Romney. Promise you this, he will follow. I'm going to repeat this one more time. He's going to follow the federal government. Because that's how it usually starts. If they need somebody to start the chain, and then it unravels. Like lockdown. California does it, New York does it, everybody follows. The federal government does it, the state government is going to do it, and then the local government is going to do it. That's how it's going to happen. And don't think because you are a Democrat, you're exempt from this bullshit. And that's some of you guys' mind thinking. You think because you voted for Biden, he's got you in his personal catalog, and he said, hey, Jimmy Joe's Democrat, well, this doesn't affect him. Wrong. That's not how it works. When they get power, it's over everybody. Because it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat at that point in time. They've got power. You're just another peasant. You're just another peasant in their way. And then here's another problem people don't realize. See, I think about this stuff because you know what? I live in the real world and I think like a thinker and I think with common sense. Here's another problem. The boys in the military. There's a lot of those guys who are not taking the vaccine, refuses to take the vaccine. So what does that mean? You now have a weaker military. Because they would probably get court-martialed or just leave the military. But check this out. Your military becomes weaker. When you start losing members of the armed forces, it reduces your strength. And what does that do? That makes you a target. See, for those of you who don't understand this, China said for many, 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 many years, they want one world order. And they want to be the order. Because if you look around, China is now buying up land in the United States. They're buying up farms in the United States, but they're buying up companies in the United States. Oh, and by the way, we owe them a lot of money. We owe them a lot of money. That's right. I said that. A lot of money. So when they're buying out your country, you already owe them a lot of money. They've taken over or will be taking over a military base that Biden got us out of and left Americans there after the fact. he decided to go get them. There are problems. And now, for you people who don't know this, China is actually our enemy. Let me rephrase that for you. China is our enemy. The first question anybody should say, why in the hell are we funding the Wuhan Institute in China with American money if they are our enemy? Our two biggest enemies, China and Russia. Haven't heard much about Russia lately, have you? Well, let me give you a little bit of tidbit about Russia. The vaccine, no mandates. The mask, no mandates. So if you don't know what you don't know, I think you should try to learn something today. Because we're about to have a hell of a ride, and it's not going to be pretty. I don't think it's going to turn out good either way. I do not think this is going to turn out well at all. You do nothing, we are screwed as a country. We fight back, there's going to be a lot of casualties. My question, who do we fight? Who are we fighting? Our military? Civilians fighting civilians? And when your civilians are fighting civilians, what is the other side fighting? We know what we're fighting for. What are they fighting for? What's the reason would they fight back? What, they want socialism? They want communism? Would that be the reason why other citizens be fighting against those of us who are trying to protect the Constitution or believe in the Constitution? Seriously, think about it. What would they be fighting? Why would they be fighting against us? They're against freedom, or they're straight ignorant? Because the fact is, there's no reason for them to be fighting against us unless they're fighting for their own self-demise. And yes, there are people out there who believe in socialism, mostly like the Bernie Sanders people. Free shit. The government taking care of them because they're too damn lazy. That doesn't work with conservatives. We like to work. But listen, I don't know what to tell people nowadays. Today's just one of those days where I'm just ranting because I'm so fed up with this crap. And it's not going to stop because you guys out there are not helping. You're not helping us. Be back in a couple minutes. This is John Harvey. I'm your host of the Modern Conservative Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. My name is John Harvey, and I'm your host of the Modern Conservative Podcast. I can be reached at the Modern Conservative Podcast at Gmail. Anytime you want to say something, you want to have a conversation with me via email, I'm more than welcome to have a conversation with you. I just, for me, I've always been the kind of man that I'm going to tell you what I think, and I don't care about your feelings. And it's not to be meant to be rude. But then again, you shouldn't be such a baby either. Nowadays, when I'm on the microphone, I wouldn't doubt people say, oh, he's so abusive because he was loud on his microphone. Well, it's my microphone. If you don't like it, turn it off. Simple as that. Turn it off. You know, before I get into my second part of this half hour, I want to let people know If you have a job and they're going to make you get vaccinated or try to make you get vaccinated, keep listening. I've got stuff coming up for you guys. I'm in the middle of negotiations with a couple companies, at least one company right now that's at the table, one at a time. We're all patriots. We want to do something good for our listeners and our followers. But what I need you to do, if you want to help others, spread the message that they need to tune in, because it's not just for my benefit. I enjoy talking to my audience every single day, every 2 days a week. I really do. Before all of this came about, it was on YouTube, Facebook, before they started shutting me down and shadow banning me. But I want you guys to stick around, because I'm going to have something that I'm going to offer people to reach financial success, at least give you an opportunity. Granted, you may have to do a little bit of work from home, a couple hours a day, sometimes 3-4 hours a day, but we are trying to get you away from working a 9 to 5. I want to get you in the position where you can control your own life. The crap Joe Biden says, yeah, what the hell? I'm not fighting because I need a job. I'm self-made. I'm fighting because we have a constitution. That's what I want you to have the mentality and the capabilities of saying. I make no promise how successful you will become or anything like that. But I do know people who are successful at doing it, very successful at doing it. But I want you guys to stick around, because I'll show you what a true patriot does for his people. We try to help out in every way that we can. Also, those of you that are listening to me, let me say, I am the state director of Blexit, Utah, and we are now starting to collect gloves, hats, socks, coats, anything that will keep children warm. And we're going to donate these items throughout the year. We've got an event coming up at the end of this month on September, on the 26th. It's helping Pastor Jesse up in Ogden. So if you're willing to donate, I'm going to have some dump stations set up around the town and up in Ogden and other parts of the county and city, where, you can drop off whatever item you want to donate, and we'd be much thankful. So keep us in mind. If the adults are going to have a crappy Christmas, let's not let the kids see the world as crazy as it is. Because the last thing in my world is I want, kids to really think this is a crappy country, and it becomes infectious. And then they become the new Antifa, or Black Idiots Matter. Yeah. But anyway, back to the topic at hand, and that's the super flu. I was just thinking when I was off air, how many companies are going to go along with this? Because from my understanding, companies that don't comply, there's a $14,000 fine for each employee who refuses to get vaccinated. Now, I don't know how they can force that on the employer. It's a scare tactic, but I'm going to tell federal employees simply this. They've been passing around a document asking employees, are they vaccinated, unvaccinated, or there's a box that says deny, which means you can deny answering the question. And I'm going to tell you this for anybody that's are asked to be mandated. Also, even in your civilian employer, you ask them, are they going to take responsibility if there's adverse reaction to the vaccine? And what you should do, everyone in your company that does not want to be vaccinated, present this document. Present a typed up document to them, putting responsibility on them. Because let me explain something to you. Under the Emergency Use Act, the doctors are not subject to liable. Pharmaceutical companies are not subject to liability. The federal government is not subject to liability. But your employer is not exempt. You got to remember, your employer is not exempt. So if your employer is asking you to get vaccinated, well, you say, tell you what, if something happens to me, are you going to take care of my family? And give it to them. Don't be scared. This is the problem in this country right now. Don't be scared. Type it up at your office, at your desk, or at home, and give it to them. They may not be so. Once a mass number of people do this, they may not be so anxious to tell you to get the vaccine, because somebody's got to be responsible. Somebody's got to be responsible. If you go to a surgeon and he does open heart surgery and he cuts your spleen and you bleed to death, what do you think malpractice insurance is for? So why should they have the right to tell us to do something and there's no consequences to them if something was to happen to you? You've got to be creative. But what I was mentioning about federal employees, they're passing around this document and it says vaccinated, unvaccinated, and you have to declare one or you can deny answering. Federal employees, hit deny. Do not put, and I repeat, do not put unvaccinated. Do not put unvaccinated. The reason why there's a deny box is because they know there's HIPAA laws. They're not exempt from discrimination under HIPAA. They're not exempt. So you have to be careful. And they know this, but they're hoping you don't figure this out and you'll just hit unvaccinated. Well, at that point, you done made a declaration. But if you make no declaration, even if you are vaccinated, put deny. And all that means is you're denying to tell them anything about your medical status. And that's actually protected under the law. They're hoping they can scare you so your common sense go out the door. Now, when you hit the deny box, now they're subject to a lawsuit. Because now everything, if they say, well, you didn't tell us your medical status, you know, I'm protected under HIPAA. HIPAA has not changed, people. It has not changed. It's exactly the same. You just simply say deny. You don't even have to give them a response because they are not exempt from HIPAA. Now, the bad thing about it, nowadays, some of these stupid ass judges, you may get a liberal judge, but that's the chance you have to take. Because any decent judge is going to tell you, hey, all the other crap that's going on, is sleight of hand. HIPAA law still is in effect. It has not changed. I spoke to a congressman. It has not changed. So you have to use your HIPAA rights to get around some of this crap. You let employers know, I will sue you under HIPAA, and they may change their tune, especially if enough people at your facility or your company have your back. What they don't want, an expensive class action lawsuit. They do not want that class action lawsuit. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, do your research. Check into it. But you do not have to say anything. Just say deny. Or write on your paper, not disclosing under HIPAA. And even look up the code. Because when your employer knows you are informed, that's power. That's power. So I know so many people are quick to say, oh, unvaccinated. Well, you know why they're doing that, right? Because that makes you a target. That's what makes you a target. If you put unvaccinated, you now become a target. But if you say deny, you know what? They don't know anything. And if you put under HIPAA, that means you're educated, you know the law, it's still on the books, it still is just as effective, and it gives them no right to ask you that. And I guarantee you, you have a lot less headache in this battle because that's what it's going to be. This message that I just gave you, you need to tell every single body out there about it. You've got to spread this. If you can't get off your ass and walk the streets, carry your flag, show you're proud as an American, you're not getting the vaccine, and you're not against vaccination, you're just against this damn vaccine. Figure out ways you can help educate people so they can save their family, just like I told you. Now, you're going to have some people that are some businesses that's going to try to test you. You just smile. Because if you put unvaccinated, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. You become a target. Think about it, people. You got to think outside the box. That's not what they're counting on. They're not counting on someone like me who thinks about this crap, how to get around it. At least give yourself somewhat of protection. Because if you sign it and say vaccinated, then you can't say you're safe under HIPAA because you declared yourself by signing vaccinated or unvaccinated. And you stay consistent. You stay consistent. Because I promise you, that'll give you more leverage than anything you can actually say. And it is a paper trail. Anytime they give you something to sign, you always tell them you want a copy of it. You want a copy of it. Because if you don't, then it becomes their piece of paper against the paper that you don't have. You want a copy of it. And you're going to run into some people that want to be Biden soldiers. Those are the ones that think they have more power because they're your boss. Then you're going to have people say, well, oh, you little shit, you're not vaccinated? Well, I'm your boss. You better get vaccinated. Well, let me tell you something, folks. That's the kind of person you want. Because I know lawyers right now that'll take the cases here in Utah. I can't speak for other states, but here in Utah, if this happens, they're looking for class actions right now. And we're about to get them. Because what big companies don't want is a large class action because it's very expensive. Let's say you're a guy that has 115 employees. By government standards, that's actually a small company. He doesn't want a battle. He doesn't want a discrimination suit against him. No company does. Yeah, they got the money, but you think they want to spend it on lawsuits? No, they don't. Because the money that goes to the lawyers, the less money that goes into the shareholders. Because class actions are not cheap for either side. But if you got a lawyer, or I know a lawyer that will take them, providing everybody comes to him and make it worth his while. That's Utah. If you have any questions, you can email me at the Modern Conservative Podcast at gmail.com. But everything I've taught you and told you, you have to implement it pretty much the same way. So today's lesson, do not say vaccinated or unvaccinated. Just decline. And if they don't have a box with the decline on it, that's because that's now it's peer pressure. Because the psyche is simply this. Oh my God, I got a vaccinated and I got an unvaccinated. I got to sign one. And I promise you, the person that hands you the paper, send you an email, they're going to tell you, you got to sign one. You tell me whenever in the contract you have to sign a contract. Tell me where you've been forced in life where somebody says, well, you got to sign this piece of paper. This one is no exception. The answer is, I'm not telling you crap. Not telling you crap. Because HIPAA says, before this crap, I was protected. HIPAA says, during this crap, my history, medical history is protected. Asking me, am I vaccinated or not? You just ask me my medical history. Simple as that. And when they've got a piece of paper in their hand that's asking that question, that's not a good idea. That's why they put deny on it or decline to answer on it. Because then they know, you have HIPAA rights. But I want you to write on the paper, per HIPAA, my medical history is protected, vaccinated or not. You people got to stop giving up your information for free. You just got to stop. It's going to be used against you. Stop using your information because how do you think Facebook makes its money? Google makes its money. They track you. Quit giving out your information. It's yours. If someone asks you for your wallet, you just going to give it to them? You sure the hell not. Why would you give anybody your medical information? It's yours. There's a reason why when you go to the doctor and they tell you, well, we don't sell your information, we don't disclose unless you sign this waiver saying that they have permission to have my information. Since when does your employer have the right to have this information? Since when? It's never happened. Unless you're somebody in a field specifically, you have to be sterilized or clean or whatever. But you knew that before you got hired. Divulging your medical history after the fact is not in your contract. And I don't even have to look at your contract because I know what the HIPAA law is. I'm kind of curious to how many people today is going to participate in destroying their own lives or help destroy lives of others. I don't understand why people that are vaccinated can't just say, why don't you just leave them people alone? If they don't want to get vaccinated, leave them alone. Why is it they don't exist? I mean, we say, look, if you guys want to get the shot, tear it up. Have at it. Have a field day at it. Make it a track meet. I don't care. Do what you want to do. You guys want to rub each other's arm and poke each other with a needle? Tear it up. Tear it up. That's your right. Why is it they think they need to get in our business? Well, let me tell you why. Because they don't want the remainder people who doesn't have the shot to prove that, hey, we survived without the shot. Because that's not a good optic. That's really not a good optic. When they're trying to force everybody to take a shot and you got a certain number of people resisting then you begin to prove a point. You prove a point that, hey, why is there more vaccinated people dying more so than unvaccinated? Now, here's Joe Biden's statistic today. He said today, 1 out of 5,000 people has an adverse reaction to the vaccine. Now, think about it. 1 out of 5,000 people and 34 million people. That's still a lot of people. That's still a lot of people. I didn't do the math today, but when I get a chance, I am actually going to do the math. Because that number is still a relatively high number. And the funny thing is, that's supposed to make people feel good because they figure people won't have the common sense and say, oh, only 5,000 people, 1 in 5,000 people. Oh, that must be only 5,000 people in the country. Are people really that stupid? Are people really that stupid? I don't think so. I really don't think so. So if it's 1 out of 5,000 people, that's 680,000 people in the United States. That's still a lot of people. So I want you guys to think about what we talked about today and what I spoke on. Look, I'm not here trying to scare you. I'm just going to tell you the truth. And it's the truth as I know it based on facts. I try not to exaggerate anything or hyperbole anything or any statement that I give. I usually research to the best of my abilities and try to stay consistent. One thing consistent, I am a conservative. I love my country. I love my flag. And I love my patriots. Because if we didn't have this great country and we didn't love it, we wouldn't be called patriots. But anyway, we come to the close of another episode today. I appreciate everybody today. I hope everybody stays safe and think about the talk we had today. I really hope you will apply some of the things that was mentioned here in this podcast. And you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. My name is John Harvey, and I'm your host of the Modern Conservative Podcast.